Well, hello, my wonderful hive, and welcome to my latest pre-recorded video. I apologize if my voice sounds a little weird. I just woke up, and then I wake up, my voice is not, you know, as it should be, and as you may be familiar. And also, my allergies are really bad, so until my allergy medicine kicks in, I'm kind of like stuffy and whatever. So if I don't sound like myself, that's why. But I wanted to take the opportunity, since I did get up a little early and I don't have as much going on today that I need to get done right away. So I figured I'd take this opportunity to check in with all of you wonderful people and kind of give my thoughts on a few things. I'm not going to go into too much detail on some stuff just because I'm going to be doing some lives about that. But, this is just kind of to give people a sense of what's going on here and all of those wonderful things. Now, while I have an audience, if you're watching this video, take a moment to like and subscribe. I always appreciate each and every one of you. I actually just rolled out memberships, so if you wanted to check that out, I would be incredibly honored for you to join the hive, although you do not owe me anything monetarily, so you are welcome to be part of a hive without donating any money whatsoever. However, I did add some perks to some people, like to the levels that, in case you are interested in supporting me financially and helping me be able to have the time to stick on here and do YouTube, and kind of to be able to be successful on here, for lack of a better word. Definitely go check that out. If I had a chat going right now, I would drop the link to that. However, I do not, so maybe I'll put it in the description. I know some people are having a hard time finding it. So like I said, absolutely no obligation. If you want to help out my channel, but without paying a cent, hit that like button right now. Like, just take a second. I could screen share. We could practice doing it together. Just hit that like button. And if you have not subscribed to me, please hit that subscribe button. Without further ado, let's get into it. Now, I am going to share my BeePlus After Dark intro, which, don't laugh, it is kind of stupid. But wait, there we go. Let's see. It's one of the first things that I made. So instead of my regular intro, how about we do this? You guys ready? You guys ready for this? Okay. I know it's, 8:24 in the morning, but I'm gonna run both intros. So without further ado, let's get into it. Hit that like and subscribe.
And now, the moment you've all been waiting for. The royal hostess with the mostest. The queen bee with the money, honey.
BeePlus.
That's right. And it's time you all bow to the real queen bee.
Here comes the most beautiful bee in the universe.
You're stealing all the bees just because you're jealous?
No, that's just a bonus. My actual plan is to capture all the queens. Their hives will then have no choice but to follow me.
Jeez, I don't know why maybe it's my internet cutting it up, but here's my other intro, guys, just because I'm excited and I want to share all this new stuff with you. So here's my After Dark one. Hopefully it plays and doesn't skip.
We don't need no sleep because the party don't stop. So turn me up. We don't need no sleep because the party don't stop. So put your hands on me and turn me up. We don't need no sleep because the party don't stop. So put your hands on me.
Okay, I've wanted to share that for a while, so now I'm happy. Okay, all right. So let's get into it, my lovely friends. So the YouTube streets have been quite eventful over the past couple days now. I have been sick, so I have not been on here as much as I would have liked to. Also, other things. It's like every time. Has anyone else noticed that every single time you think that, things are calm and you figured out your place on here, something happens that kind of throws you back in the middle and throws you back into having to make decisions about where to go with your channel. And I can't tell you how many times I have been thrown into a tough place, like between a rock and a hard place, in my time on YouTube alone. And I'm not really sure why that is. I think it's because I'm a smaller channel, so I'm not really sure. So I want to make it very clear that I think a lot of people have it twisted. I think a lot of people think that I'm new to this community. I'm not new to this community. This is one of the many names that I have been under, and I never changed my names for nefarious reasons. For the longest time, I changed one of them because it was too close to my actual name that I wasn't wanting to put out there. It's Emma, so I'm putting it out there now. So I believe that one was Emma SR27, in case that sounds familiar to you. So I believe that's what it was at first, when I first entered Watts Island. I think from there, I might have changed it to my band name, which is Unsolved Miseries. I'm not sure if that sounds familiar to you. So that was me. And then I was trying to get, I was thinking about doing a channel over the summer that I was going to do like a true crime book club. So I did that very briefly. And then I went under a name that I'm not going to disclose. But, if people know, they know. But anyways, that was kind of the one that I changed it to at the beginning of the Petito case, because I'm not really sure why. I had heard, because I was familiar with Natasha and I was familiar with what she likes to do. And I think I just wanted to make sure I had extra anonymity when I was there, which, should have been a red flag, right? Like if you feel that you can't, be safe going into a community or a chat room like that should be a red flag that maybe you don't want to be there. And, in the back of my head, I knew that. And I remember thinking that to myself, like, this doesn't feel right. But, I did it anyway, and you can't change the past. And then, how I got to BeePlus is that there was a time where I remember I was watching one of Kim and Crafton's lives, and Kim mentioned there's this new channel called Granny's Watching, and my voice just cracked. Oh God. Yes, ignore that. I told you it's the morning, and my voice is not. My allergies kill me. But yeah, it said there was a channel called Granny's Watching, and I went over to check it out, and I ended up listening to Jess, and I ended up subscribing. And, the more I listened, the more it was resonating with me. And I was like, you know what? Like, there really is a large amount of people that are feeling the same way that I do about Natasha. And, there's strength in numbers. So, not that Natasha made me do anything. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. We're going to talk a little bit about Natasha, too. And we're going to talk a little bit about her idiots. Yes, that's right. I'm calling you idiots who come over to my page and, write things. We're going to address those things that you guys write on my things. But you know what? Keep it coming, because you're giving me engagement. You're just promoting my channel. So I can't help but feel like maybe you guys are fans. So I see you, boo. I see you. Thanks for the support. But anyways, I was like, okay, so maybe there's another community that I could be part of here, because at that point in my life, I was really looking for, connection, which I think a lot of us are. And that's what I was looking for. So I ended up, I was looking at a grade that I had gotten for one of my papers, and it was a B+. So I was like, okay, well, excuse me. I was like, nobody would be able to figure out that that's me. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go in with that. And I think I put the picture as like a picture I had taken of the moon. And I was like, all right. So I went in as that. And now, now that I've started my channel and people know me as that, I figured it would be harmful for me to change it. So this is what I'm doing, and I'm owning it. This is my branding, just like Natasha. Natasha, you have a freaking recliner as your marketing tool. I mean, sweetie, that is, that maybe that works for you, but I think I'd be a little embarrassed to have a recliner for my marketing tool. Like, yes, let me brand. We're going to talk about that too, but just a little food for thought. You want to brand the fact that you sit in a recliner all day as like your image. Okay. Well, I'd rather have bees. Bees are pretty cool. It's communal. It's great for promoting the sense of community. And I don't wish to be a queen bee at all. So I think that's the only part that does not resonate with me. That sounds like a lot of work. I don't wish to be the queen of anybody except my my own self. But yeah, so that's how I ended up here. Now, I have been part of this community for over a year. So I have witnessed the Watts Island stuff. I was a part of, like, not a part of it, but like, I would go into some chats. Now, I didn't chat very often. I mostly chatted in Kim and Crafton's chat. I think I chatted a few times when Cher used to be a part of this community, Voices Behind the Wall, and that was probably one of the first chats I went into. I think that, what? Honestly, I think I may have chatted a few times in Mandy C's chat. Who else? I never really cared for Natasha. And that's the honest to God truth. I remember I would always try to watch her, and I was like, no, like, this isn't interesting. Like, I don't, it wasn't for me. But I didn't have a problem with her. Like, I was like, she just didn't sit well with me. But then I did start to see, it was early July is when I started to see the behaviors that made me stay very far away. And I know the person would not like me mentioning their name, as to who it is. So I'm not going to say it. This person, I believe, still supports NC. Those of us who were here at that point in time know who I'm talking about. And maybe I should say names, but I don't know. Maybe I will. But it was the beginning of July. I remember it was right around July 4th. Actually, no, it was a little later on than that. But I remember the time period because it was my sister's bachelorette party. This was around the time that Cindy Watts went into Kim and Crafton's chat. But it was I believe it was either a few days prior to that or after. I don't remember, but I think it was before that. Natasha, somebody had left her, well, no, not a voicemail. It was a live that this person had done in tears, sobbing, basically very clearly having a severe mental breakdown. Now, as somebody who recognizes stuff like that, you could tell this person was not in a good place. This person, was, and regardless of, her history or anything, like I wasn't familiar with her. I knew the name. I had heard the name around, but, and Natasha was playing these voicemail enough. I think they may have been voicemails. I think they were her videos though, because this person does have a channel. And if they are listening, which I know they've been in my chat before not for a very long time, but if they're listening, they know exactly who they are. And like I said, those of us who I should use names. I hate, when it comes to like mental breakdowns and stuff, I hate to use people's names because I know that stuff can be embarrassing. But I guess if you're on a public platform, but I can't remember whether it was in a video of hers or if Natasha was sharing voicemails. And that's my conundrum here, is that if it was voicemails, I don't want to repeat the name because that's private info, with voicemail, especially with something like that. But if it's a video, that's another story. So, I mean, maybe I'll put in the description who it is if anybody's interested, if somebody can confirm that this was a video on her own channel, which it probably was, because that wouldn't surprise me if she put that on her own channel. But anyways, she was dragging this woman. And like I said, this is a woman who is an active part of her community as of now, dragging her. And just, I was stunned as to how this woman could do this to this woman who was clearly having a mental breakdown. And I remember the next day, I went and I commented on that video, standing up for this person. I was like, hey, I don't know if what's going on with that, but I know, in my opinion, you should lay off because this person clearly is at a breaking point. And I think doing stuff like this isn't helpful. Now, I immediately got attacked. Saying, you don't know this person's history with this person's crazy, and they've done all of these things, and blah, blah, blah. Natasha has every right to do that. And that was kind of my first clue as to the type of people that support Natasha. And I was like, wow, like nobody has any empathy for this woman who just got dragged like that. And then, I know that I'll have the people that are like, well, Natasha is bullied every day and on here. Well, first of all, she's not bullied. She's not bullied. I don't believe that. Also, I don't have empathy for people who are absolutely just awful. I have empathy for people who I feel are real, who I feel make mistakes, just like every one of us. To err is human. I still have empathy for those people, regardless of their behavior. Who I don't have empathy for is people who do this like it's a sick game. And there are a few of them on here that do it like that. And I'm sorry, I don't have empathy for that. And what I've learned more than anything else on my time here on YouTube is that you get nowhere being nice, right? You get nowhere. Nice girls really do finish last here on YouTube. And I learned that. And I am genuinely a nice person. Especially if you don't get beneath the surface of me. But like, if I know you personally, which I would like to get to know people, I do. I have a temper. I've said that since day one. I get very angry. When I get angry, I act. And at first I was doing everything in my power to not bring that on here because I was like, no, it's not a good look. I don't want that for my channel. But at this point, I honestly don't care. I am not going to be in the position that I have felt myself in for way too long now, where I feel like I've been boxed into a corner of silence, because I'm expected to be the nice one and the one who doesn't do certain things. No, I'm going to, everybody else here plays by their own rules. So am I. I'm going to play by my own rules too. And I'm sorry if you don't like that. Some of the stuff I wanted to discuss here today, yesterday, I'm actually glad I waited, because I do need to, I'm thinking about how I want to handle it. But, I was thinking to oh my God, guys, I need to drink like a energy drink or something. I might have to get up and get that in a minute. Like I said, in the morning, my, everything is just congested. But, I was thinking to myself, if I come on here and I say what I want to, that's basically, like hitting the self-destruct button on my channel. But I don't want to be fake. I don't want to be somebody who comes on here and isn't genuine with you guys. I feel like, in order for, I want to show you guys that I'm real. I'm not like a lot of these people on here. And I think that's what drives them crazy. And like I said in my own thing, like, I'm not really a bad guy. I just play it on YouTube. Everybody else here plays by certain rules. So if I don't play by those rules too, then I'm not relevant on here at all. And I don't mean relevant as in I want to be part of things or like that. No. That's not what I mean. What I mean by relevant is if you want to come in here and do drama, maybe relevant's not the right word. You have to kind of engage in certain things to kind of just, you have to say how you feel. Everybody else does. That's kind of the terms of engagement here. So maybe not relevant. What is the right word then? I don't know. Whatever. But I'm, and I was quiet for a long time. I didn't say a lot of things. And I've just been really angry and resentful about a lot of stuff that I've kept to myself. I haven't said anything for many reasons. First of all, I was like, nobody's going to believe me on certain things. And it seems that we still are in that place that nobody's going to believe me about things because they don't believe anybody else that's saying it. So why would they believe me? Who am I? But I'm still going to say these things anyways, because it's fucked up and I don't stand for it, guys. I don't. And if you want to judge me for that, then fine. But I think the first thing that we're going to address today, let's see, what is the first thing? Well, we can address Natasha's supporters. Okay. We can address them. Now, I certainly don't mind you stopping by and leaving comments on my videos. In fact, that just ensures that my videos reach more people. So thank you so much. So, don't feel free to stay. I have no problem with that. What I found amusing is it's basically the content of these comments. I have gotten a few comments that have said that I am jealous of Natasha and that I wish I was Natasha. And that's the one that I found to be funniest. Like, one of them mentioned in the thing that I wish I'm one of those creepy people that wishes I was wearing Natasha's skin or something. It was a bizarre comment. And I was like, first of all, actually, you know what? First of all, I'm not even going to go there. I'm not going to go there. No. Okay. I'm not going to go there. I think we all know what I'm thinking though. But second of all, the only people on here that are obsessed with Natasha and probably want to wear her skin are the people who go around white knighting for her obsessively on every channel, on every video, making comments. Like, who has the time? Get a fucking life. Like, seriously. Like, that's embarrassing. I'm embarrassed for you that you have the time to go around and do that for a woman who I promise you would not do the same for you. But you look pathetic. So congratulations. But, I certainly am not obsessed with Natasha. I talk about a wide variety of things. And no, I'm not sorry for talking about her. I'm not going to stop talking about her. I am not bullying. I am not harassing. I am not doing any of those things. I'm just doing, what does she do? She hasn't, and this is probably the last time I'm even going to mention that for a while because, have you not noticed that since she's on here, she's been like up in the vile factor, because she's losing relevance. Like it's true. A lot of people just don't care anymore. Like it's boring. Like the drama that's been around here, quite frankly, I'm bored. Every day I come on here and it's the same thing. Somebody went real life or whatever, or, their perception of real life. Because, my perception of reality and what's real life is often quite different than other people's, clearly. And, or, I don't know, like somebody, I mean, I don't need to give examples. It's just the same shit, different day. Oh, there's mass reporting and this person's channel and blah, 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 which obviously, guys, I would never condone doing it. Like, don't do that. I don't believe that anybody should be silenced on here per se. I believe that terms of service should be enforced for sure. That's for sure. But I don't believe that, I think that just about everybody should have a voice. So that's not what I'm saying here. I'm just saying that's like the topic that I hear discussed a lot. Or, people are posting these screenshots of whatever, and I'm bored. It's stupid. And I know that I've gotten a lot of crap, and honestly, I really don't care. People are like, people have a lot to say about everything that you do on here, and it's kind of interesting, honestly. Like, I just I've been watching like certain things, and I'm just like, do you people understand what you're what you're saying and how it doesn't make sense? Now, my question that I am genuinely posing to people, okay, genuinely posing, is what, how do I put this? Right. Okay. So I know that, what's her face? Lindsay posted those texts between Granny's watching and Lycan last night. And yes, if you're just going to look at it at face value like that, then fine. Of course that would feel like a jackpot to her. Now, first of all, I don't like, she needs to get a life too. Like, really? Like, do you just go around and like wait to take screenshots and things? Like, do you do anything else with your life, Lindsay? Like, honestly, because it sure doesn't look like you do. Because you're like always there with a screenshot, and I can almost predict when you're going to take one too. Like, I don't know, dude. There's something concerning about that as well. I certainly don't do that, but to each their own. Whatever helps you sleep at night or not sleep at night, or I don't know, whatever. You guys get what I'm trying to say. But so yeah, I understand how that would look at face value, sure, but remember the context, okay? Remember the context. So this was, and I really don't even want to go into this without Jess's permission to do so, because I don't want to give a psychological analysis based on my experience in that field. Of course, not clinically diagnosed, none of that. But I wouldn't need to run it by her before I would come on here and say it publicly, because I don't want to speak for her. And I don't want to misrepresent. That's not my place. And I think that's very wrong for people to do. So I would need to discuss it with her first. But, in her defense, right? So I'll leave it at this. In her defense, this was somebody that she cared about. This is somebody that, Natasha was threatening to release really that's not okay. So yeah, she cared about him, and she sent, and guys, I'm going to tell you a little secret, okay? Are you ready for this little secret? You want to know what Jess is not doing? You want to know, guys? She's not digging up the stuff. This is stuff people send to her. And I can tell you this because I have been sent things as well. And, obviously there's some things that I don't foresee myself ever being in a situation where I would feel that it would be appropriate to share. But who knows? Maybe someday. I guess I can play by those rules too. I don't care. I really don't. And so just think about it that way. And I can tell you that, guys, like, you guys can believe what you want. You can believe whatever you want, but I'm going to tell you right now what Jess is not doing. And I believe this to just because I, as a creator, sometimes as a creator, you're privy to certain information or certain understandings of how things work behind the scenes. And any creator on here, I can tell you right now, probably does get sent things. And I remember the reason I'm saying this about Jess and is because I remember when all of this first began, and because I know that my brain works like sometimes I think too well, but too fast, because I know what the argument's going to be. People are going to be like, well, somebody sent Lindsay that. No, I actually disagree with that. So that's a whole separate point. So please do not take my words out of context. That's why I'm stating that here. But I remember when Jess first came on here and everything was first started, I was part of that community and I had a lot of time on my hands. Like I had just, lost my job. And I was home a lot. And I pretty much watched all of her lives and I was in the chats. I remember seeing people offering to send her things and telling her that they sent her things. And all of those things were the things that I saw listed there. So what Jess isn't doing with her day is going in there and digging up people's information. I don't believe that she's doing that. Now, do I believe that there are people around that do things like that? Sure. Yeah, they're probably, they're not probably, there definitely are. But it's not creators. It's subscribers, quite honestly, because I've also been sent things. So basically what she was trying to do, now she did not send all of those things to him as far as my understanding from those texts. My understanding is that she was just stating the stuff that she had and offering because she was desperately trying to help somebody that she cared about, against Natasha. Now, obviously, she did send those diary pictures, and there was a lot of outrage about that. And yeah, okay, was that messed up? Yeah, we shouldn't be dealing with stuff like that anyway. But playing devil's advocate here, first of all, who took the pictures in the first place? That would be Natasha Cooper, who sent those things to a lot of different people. Well, I have suspicions as to who sent those diary pictures in the first place. I certainly do. But I'm gonna do some. I can't prove it, so can't be sure. But I certainly have some suspicions as to where those came from. So who put those out further than Natasha Cooper? Oh, right, an ex-mod, right? Okay, so there's another person at fault, and this is all not on YouTube. So then you have Granny who sent it to Lycan, who she was dating. Still not on YouTube, right? Still not on YouTube. And the person that puts it on YouTube is Lycan, right? So everybody is outraged. I see that every day in chats that oppose Granny saying, oh, she put out the things. Lycan was the one who put it onto YouTube. Okay. Like, does that make sense to you guys? And you guys are all outraged with Granny's watching, but you have Lycan in your chat. You have Lycan up on your panel. You're totally okay with him. But you weren't before because, you were kind of appalled by his behavior like I was, because I've never been a fan. And, anybody can tell you that. I don't care for a lot of things that I've heard him say. It does not sit well with me. It was actually one of the reasons I started distancing myself from Granny's Watching's community. And she knows that. And I obviously said, like, you can't, you do you, like, you don't tailor your content for me. That's stupid. I would never do that for anybody. So nobody should do that for me. But yeah, that's not the point. The point is that, that's never sat well with me. And I can tell you right now that the people that he frequents at this point, many of them were very outraged by him. But, it seems that because he's angry at Granny's Watching, now suddenly he's accepted and is okay, when your argument is still that Granny sent him the diary entries. He was the one who put them on YouTube for everybody to see, not Granny. Granny didn't do that. Natasha Cooper didn't do that. Whoever shared those in the first place didn't do that. Now, do they have a part to play in it? Sure. Okay, cool. They do. But they didn't put it on YouTube. If she had sent that to Lycan and, he had never done anything with it, no harm done, right? In my opinion, no harm done. It's when you bring stuff onto YouTube is when the crime is committed, in my opinion. Okay. Because we all shit talk behind the scenes. Obviously we all have feelings, and I don't want to hear for a second that people have not been guilty of things in their lifetime, because that's stupid. None of us are perfect. but I wanted to post that. So, and maybe I misread those texts. Like, I'll go through them again. I'll look. It did not look like she sent, I don't know. Maybe she did. I don't know. But regardless, it's whoever puts them onto YouTube publicly that is at fault for those things, not who sends it. Because what harm was done sending that behind the scenes? Can you tell me what harm was done by that? I don't see any harm done because nobody would know if it wasn't put up there. And, of course, yeah, the more I'm pushed about things, the more the less fucks that I'm giving about what I'm about to do here. And if it destroys my channel, it destroys my channel. At least I know I destroyed it doing something right. And showing people, and then part of me was like, is that even worth it? Because nobody believes the truth, even when it's smack dab in their face. Which, makes me angry as well, because I'm looking at this and I'm looking at the people in the chat that are so outraged against Jess and so mad. And, you know what most of them have in common? You want to know what the common denominator is amongst those people? Is a lot of those people were people that were close to Jess at one point that have, I don't know the stories on all of them on how that, but they're angry at her. And suddenly, like, they're outraged by everything. But, the problem is, now I would take them seriously if they weren't, letting certain people up on their panels, interacting and, going into other people's chats of people that have not done worse. You're not going to convince me otherwise. I'm sorry. Like, please tell me what Granny is watching has done that is so much worse than what other people in this community have done. I genuinely would like to know. Okay, so is she mean? Yeah, she can be very mean. Can she be a bitch? Yep, she sure can. Is she loud and assertive? And, maybe some people don't take that well. Okay, yeah, sure, she is. Okay. Does she not care about that? Sure, but that's not a crime, right? It's not, that's obviously that's not an issue if she chooses to behave like that. That's who she is. And if you don't like it, then don't watch her. None of that is inappropriate. Especially when, basically your outrage is about things like digging into people's children's lives or their personal lives, or, basically that whole research team mentality. And that's not happening there. That's coming from elsewhere. And everybody knows exactly where that's coming from, but nobody wants to acknowledge it because everybody just wants to, kind of worship anybody that, is against Granny's watching at this point. Do I, and here, let's be honest. Like, yeah, okay. I'll be honest on here. Yeah, sure. I don't really care. And, if people have questions, they can certainly come ask me questions. Okay. But, have I always liked Granny's watching? No, I haven't. A lot of that was based on lies that I'm quite angry about, actually, and have been angry about, and have not talked about that publicly, but I'm going to, because I feel like, because, and if anybody faults me for that, then you know what, you can go, like, fuck off. Like, I have every right to ask questions about things that concern me. I'm sorry, I do. And if I have to share things for context, then I'm going to do that. And then what happens with that afterwards is whatever. Like, I don't know. Am I mad? No, I'm not. But, with Granny's watching, I was part of that community. I, supported her. When I started to kind of back away, I think she saw things, and she probably still sees it this way, and that's fine. Her perceptions of how she feels, I'm sorry, that sounds dismissive. I don't want to sound like that. Her experience and what she perceived as what was going on is very valid, and it's, obviously that's how she sees it, and I can't change that. I can only say how I was doing it, but if she doesn't want to believe me, that's fine. So I mean, I had made my own channel. And I actually originally wasn't even going to do anything to do with this community or anything like that, but I ended up doing that. And I think that she felt, and as a creator now, I understand where she's coming from. My intention was never to just go in her chat to self-promote. That was not my intention. I can see in hindsight that that may have come off that way, but I was genuinely a part of that community. Like, it's not like I was, somebody like some people that I won't name that would just come into your chat to kind of just like, love bomb and promote their channel and then never come back. So I was actually there daily. And I know that's how she perceived it. And amongst other things, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes and people in people's ears. Now, I don't know that for sure on her part, but there certainly wasn't mine. Trying to, perpetuate this anger that I had. And I mean, if people want me to, I will go into the deep dive of how that unfolded. So I did. I had some anger, and because she said something on a live at me about that, and I was like, okay, well, that's not what I'm doing. But I didn't. I don't usually let my anger out entirely, but yeah, that kind of festered like resentment and anger and a lot of other stuff that had happened as well. Or things that I had either perceived wrong, or maybe I perceived them right. I don't know. Jess and I have never had a full-on conversation about what went on with that, because honestly, I think, for me personally, it's water under the bridge. I've apologized for things that I felt that I should apologize for. And that's where I'm going to leave it. But, so I feel resentful because I was being told all sorts of things about things Jess was saying about me, and, things that all sorts of things, and not just from one person. And, I obviously, in this community, people like to delete videos, or they just like to make them up. I mean, either way, it's really hard to confirm what people say. So if people come to you and say that, this person is doing this and saying these things about you, you kind of can't verify it. Now, I've done my work afterwards to verify these things. And I always had a feeling, in the back of my mind, that I had people not being truthful with me, which is why I never came out on here and yelled and screamed and, went with that, because in the back of my mind, I was like, you know what? I actually don't think Randy's watching, even cares that much about my existence, that I would at all be. I don't believe that. Now, some things I do think were, like I said, I'd have to discuss it with her. I'd have to, because there's actually a couple instances that I have questions about, that maybe she can clarify for me. But, regardless of that, so I was angry, and I was, another reason I stayed away from that community was Lycan. Like, when he started kind of being in there all the time, first of all, he was quite rude to me, which, you're not going to treat me like that. That's no, no. I don't sit there and then just let people mistreat me like that for no reason. That's not going to happen. So I kind of distanced myself, because I was like, you know what, this isn't something, I really want much to do with. So I just stayed on my own channel, and I don't think anybody had a problem with that or whatever. And then, after what happened with Dorothy, I did apologize to her for, being in the chat or whatever. But, I want to make it very clear. A lot of my anger and a lot of where that was coming from was because people were trying to get me angry. People were trying to get me to kind of, I don't know if it go after Jess, or I don't know, but I feel like they've been looking for somebody that has the, for lack of a better word, I guess figure of speech here, obviously, has the balls to do it, or to take, or the personality rather would be a better word, to take her on. Because Jess is a firecracker. I mean, no doubt about it. I mean, she has a personality for sure. And I'm sure some people are intimidated. Now, I'm not saying that, when I get angry, I can yell and scream with the best of them, I can. But that's not usually how I handle things. And I'm not saying I don't have a strong personality, because I do. But I'm not the one who's gonna, come on here and and not because I want to make it. Oh, I just don't want to. I have no desire to. That doesn't. I don't go if I don't like somebody, then I just don't go there. That's how it is. Now at this point, I do hang around in Granny's Watching's chat, and I have spoken to her, and I mean, I don't think, for me personally, there's no hard feelings. Okay. I'm not sure about her. I'm hoping in time that any of those bad feelings can kind of dissipate. But, a lot of people are really outraged about that. They're like, well, how could you support Granny's Watching and Kim and all of these things? Well, first of all, I don't owe anybody an explanation. And second of all, have you looked around the community lately? Have you not seen what other people have been doing? Because that's what baffles me, is that you're going to come at people for supporting Granny's Watching and Kim and Crafton, on whoever else is over. But you're platforming and supporting people who do way worse. And that makes no sense to me. So has just done some things that are, I don't know, like not that are bad. Sure, maybe. I guess that's all based on your opinion and your perception, as anything else is clearly. And I don't know if she's sorry for anything that she's done or not, or I don't know if she wishes she had handled things differently. But regardless, has she? I really want to know people's issue. Like, was it because she was mean, or came off mean? Because yeah, okay, she does. She can come off really angry and mean, and I guess that's true. But I'm telling you guys right now, what she is not doing behind the scenes, and I'm gonna stand by this. And people probably, a lot of people probably disagree, and that's fine. I hope that you could open your eyes, but I can't. Wishful thinking, right? Magical thinking. She's not the one sitting at her computer all day digging on people. Okay, she's not. That's other people that do that and send that stuff to her. Now, I have a feeling that where that stuff is coming from is ironic. Okay, I think that where I believe that all that information that she has been sent is coming from, I think that if I could ever prove that, it would be like the biggest bombshell ever. But that's not something I think I can easily prove. Now, guys, give me 2 seconds. I gotta go get a drink real quick because my throat is getting really scratchy and all of that. So I'm gonna mute really quickly. And I know this isn't a live, so this is kind of weird for me to do this, but give me 2 seconds. Stay tuned. While I'm gone, hit that thumbs up. Okay, do it now. Do it. Hit that thumbs up. And if you have not subscribed to me, hit that subscribe button. I'd love to have you. All right, give me 2 seconds, guys. All right, I am back. My wonderful hive. Yes. Yeah, Bang energy drinks. I'm drinking it and they ain't paying me for it. Not yet. I got the cherry blade lemonade and I got Bankster berry. And yes, they're very good. Yeah, I know. People are probably like, oh, she opened a can. It must be she's drinking. Yes, I am drinking. Just not alcohol. That was so stupid. That was stupid, guys. Remember that? People trying to like super detective analyze the sounds and backgrounds. Whatever. Maybe I'll start doing random noises and stuff to see if people will start that on me. It'll be like a game. Just like I've started kind of adding, like, Where's Waldo? I've started adding Waldo and yellow to some of my thumbnails. I actually want to make some of my thumbnails to be like legit Where's Waldo scenes. Actually, I might do that for my next one. I enjoy making them. So, that's another thing I'm proud of is my thumbnails. Thumbnails are pretty awesome. You know, clearly I care about the content that I'm bringing to my channel. I care about you guys. I want to bring you guys a good product. I want to bring you guys what you want. So, you know, I do. I don't ever want to hear that I don't care or have, you know, my community's best interest. Because like I said, if I can do nothing else, it's to keep people that are dangerous away from my community. Do I have the power alone to kind of get them out of this community? No, I don't. But I can keep them out of mine. And I intend to do that because, like I said, I have seen enough. You know, and I've seen things that you guys haven't. And I'm going to continue to say that. Now, some of it is not mine to put out. Some of it is not mine to show. And I am going to respect that for now. Or else I feel that it is absolutely necessary, or, you know, but some of it I do. Some of it I do plan on showing. Because I really don't care anymore. I really don't. I want to put it all out there. What drives me up a wall, what drives me so crazy, and what's kind of been the source and root of my anger lately is the fact that there are people in this community who everybody thinks is just the nicest person and, you know, just so great and could never hurt a fly and would never do anything when I know otherwise. And when I know that it's people like that you always have to wonder, are they doing stuff behind the scenes? And just because you haven't gotten caught with what you do does not mean that you did not do it. And it does not mean that you are a better person than anybody that has gotten caught. You just haven't gotten caught, period. Like, and you probably will someday. You know, you can't be shady forever and expect the sun never to hit you. Like, you know, it will eventually. And when it does, you know, the longer that you've been a sneaky little snake behind the scenes wearing your sneakers laced up for sneaking, the worse it's going to look for you. And honestly, I am looking forward to that day. Now, are there people that I would be open to having a conversation with? Maybe, but not right now. Like, you know, and that I wanted to cover that a little bit as well, which, you know, was the whole thing with the, you know, Gen X doing the roundtable thing. And I want to make it very clear that, you know, I do not have an issue with Gen X. Gen X has been nothing but kind to me. And I think that whole situation was unfortunate. And I'm hoping that that's one that works itself out. I really, really do. Because I think there's a lot of subscribers that like both of them very, very much. Myself being one of them. So it's kind of an unfortunate situation, but I don't really want to talk about what happened with that, except for making some points that I've already made publicly. But, you know, so, you know, my old issue and the whole reason that I wasn't really interested, is because when I first came on here, and, you know, when I first came on here, I was going to do something similar, and I called it a town meeting. And it was actually right after I posted and the live for that I started getting that Dorothy did what she did. I think a lot of people don't want things. A lot of people don't want peace, and that becomes very clear. And I foresaw, and my perception of what happened there was that people didn't want peace. They wanted an opportunity to kind of, it was kind of a publicity stunt, and an opportunity to go at Granny's watching. You know, because a lot of people won't do it on their own 2 feet. You know, they needed a quote unquote moderator, I guess. I don't know. But I do feel like it and I'm sorry, like I'm just calling it how I saw it. Okay. It did feel like Granny was not getting, I did sense some attitude towards her that I did not hear towards the other folks. So I'm not sure who that moderator was. I've heard names thrown around. I'm not familiar. I think I've been on panel with them. So I'm really not sure who that was, but you know, I would like to think they said they were unbiased and didn't know who they were, but I don't know if I believe that. But that's okay. And like I said, this isn't about them. I don't want to go into that right now. I am hoping that that gets worked out. I truly, truly wish that that would. But you know, that's obviously not up to me. But you know, so my whole issue is that it's not that I don't want peace. Now, I think there's a difference between not wanting peace and just kind of minding your own business and just doing what you do, but not wanting to, you know, hash it out with people, and not wanting peace and continuing to cause chaos in the community. Now, I'm not causing chaos in the community. So if I don't feel like I want peace with somebody, which there are people that, you know, my opinions of people, unlike others on here, don't change based on what's popular. They don't change based on what everyone else is doing or what anything like that. And that's what really I was thinking twice about even coming on here and talking about this, because I was like, you know, it seems like the popular opinion right now, when I've kind of read the room, so to speak, is that, you know, Granny's Watching and Kim are bad. That is kind of the impression I've gotten. But my perception of them isn't going to change because that's what's popular. And I can say the same for other creators on here. Just because people want me, like, I know things, like, I know what they're capable of. I don't, at this point in time, wish to associate in any way, shape, or form with people that I don't think are good people. You know, and that's just the facts. You know, you might not like Kim, you might not like Jess, but at least they're not fake. At least they come on here and you know how they feel. Like, they're loud. Yeah, or can they be loud and obnoxious? Sure, yeah, okay. But at least you know how they feel. Like, Jess has no issue telling you how she feels. I have been on the receiving end of that a few times. And I remember the first time I was kind of taken aback. I was like, all right, well, you know, I respect that. I respect assertiveness. You know, she's not being sneaky and telling people she likes you when she doesn't. Okay. She's not doing that. She really doesn't care. Now, I haven't really seen any situations like that really with Kim, but I know Kim is outspoken. So I know that she's not fake either. I don't think that she pretends to like people that she doesn't. And if she doesn't like something, you can rest assured that she's going to speak out about it. Now, what I'm not trying to say that it's like two different situations. But yeah, Granny's Watching has certainly, you know, told me exactly how she feels about me on a few occasions where I was kind of taken aback by like the blunt honesty, but I respect that. What I don't like is people that tell you how great you are and how awesome you are and that they like you and they support you, and all of those things. But on the drop of a dime will turn because clearly they didn't feel that way about you to begin with. So that to me is somebody who's fake. That to me is somebody who never liked me at all. And I don't like people like that. I don't. I don't like people who like me when it's convenient for them to like me, or people that like me when they get a benefit from doing so, such as like a mutual dislike of somebody or whatever. I'm not going to compromise how I see things and how you know, the standards I hold myself to, for mutual hatred of somebody. Like, people like to say, you know, and I'm going to draw lines in the sand at this point. I know that there's a lot of subscribers that, you know, I see over in Granny's Watching and Kim Crafton's. I also see them elsewhere with people that don't get along with them. And I actually respect that. I think that that's great. I think that there are some subs that just go where they want. And I have no issue with that. I think that that's awesome. I think that's what people really should do. I know sometimes sometimes as a creator, as myself, and I'll be honest, like sometimes it's hard not to take that personally. I'll verify that. I certainly have. I've certainly been like, but I think it's different. Like, if it's somebody who's your mod or that you're close with, when they do it, I think that's a valid reason to be upset. I think that's valid. But if it's just a subscriber that, like, you know, supports you, but also support you, that I don't have a problem with that. But I will say that I think, you know, what happened with me with Dorothy, you know, and this person knows who they are. I was a little shocked to see them in Dorothy's chat. afterwards, love bombing and promoting themselves. Yeah. So, I was definitely like, okay, that's interesting. But all right. So, what I'm trying to say is I like real. I like real people on here. Is anybody perfect on here? Is anybody's hands clean? No, nobody's hands are clean. But there are certainly people that have not done similar. Like I have never gone and dug in on somebody's, like I have never so much as Googled anybody's name. I don't care. Do people tell me things? Yeah, they do. I've been privy to quite a bit of information actually. But I never used it. And I never really was interested because that's not what I wanted with my channel. And a lot of the time I wasn't even like paying attention. I don't know. I was kind of confused as to what I was doing with YouTube, but now I'm very certain about how I want to handle this and what I'm doing. So things are different now. I've kind of found my place here. But even then, sometimes I don't feel like I found a place here because I just, when I look at the big picture, I just want to yell at people. Like, do you hear yourself? And I hate saying this, but I'm going to, like, because it is a quote from The Hangover. It's like, you are literally too stupid to insult. And that's how I feel about a lot of people. The ones that blindly support Natasha and White Knight for her. Like, okay. I don't understand that. And there's just some issues that I'm seeing all this drama about that I, quite frankly, don't understand why it's a big production. I feel like people are grasping at straws for content and drama. Like I said, and I know this isn't, people don't like hearing this either. Like, I saw all of the debacle with the girl who's very sick, and the raising money for her, which obviously no decent human being is going to have a problem with. Okay. Like, I don't understand why that's even an issue, but, I also don't think it's an issue to say that, this is the type of stuff that Natasha does from time to time to kind of, what is it? Signal boost? I don't know what it's called. Basically kind of verify to people that she is a good person, and you'll notice a pattern. She'll do stuff like this, especially after like a period of being particularly vile, to kind of throw people off. And then you'll have people that are like, well, would a scammer do that? A scammer wouldn't do that. They never part with their money. Well, that actually is very untrue. And we can go into the clinical stuff about that at some point. It's very not true. It's exactly what a scammer would do. And that's great. And yes, do people benefit when she does that? Sure. Okay. Yeah. And that's great that she did. But I don't think that it is off limits to discuss people's intentions behind things. I think intentions matter very much. Now, it's great that that money goes to this girl. Like, I think that's wonderful. That's great. I also don't think that people should be shamed for not posting it or not donating, because honestly, you don't know people's financial situations. There's a lot of causes out there, and if that's something you wanted to share, great. But like, I don't understand why it's an issue. I just don't get that. And a lot of them like to say, like, what do you do for the community? Well, why don't you ask me what I do for my own community? Why don't you ask what I do to give back? Because I think you'll find there have been newspaper articles written about me and what I have done to give back to my community on multiple occasions. I was raised to value, like I said, I was raised Jewish, so we call it tzedakah, and that technically translates to like charity. And I was always, oh my God, there's another phrase that basically just means be a good person. I can't remember it right now, but basically those are the virtues that I was raised with. With my allowance, what I would have to do is I would have spending, short-term savings, long-term savings, and tzedakah. And I would have to divide my allowance. And then I would, I was always raised to do that. And I donate money where I can. I volunteer my time where I can, whether it be with people, with animals, you name it, I've probably done it. We didn't get holiday gifts growing up. The money that would have been used for those, we sponsored 8 boys at a group home. and bought them gifts every single year. You know, so we did not get Hanukkah gifts, and that was my idea and my choice. I had a newspaper article written about that when I was a kid, by an author called Bob Kerr, who wrote for the Providence Journal. And this was in, like, I think this was probably in the 90s, late 90s, early 2000s. But, you know, I do a lot. And to say that I don't because I didn't share a GoFundMe is grasping at straws. You know, I don't get that. Like, you know, people are like, well, you know, I first of all, you know, I don't feel like volunteering or, you know, being a good person always has to do with money. That's something Natasha would think for sure. But I think volunteering your time or your voice is often just as valuable. It is just as valuable. A lot of people I don't have disposable income right now. I do not have money to spend or to give or to anything like that. I'm definitely struggling financially at the moment. You know, so I don't feel that people should be shamed for not donating or for mentioning that. Now, I hope that she, you know, reaches her goal. You know, obviously, like that's really sad. But I don't think that, you know, not sharing a link or, you know, mentioning the fact that, you know, this is something that Natasha does from time to time to kind of make people think she's a good person. I don't think that that's makes anybody a bad person for saying that. My opinion. And I did see some comments that she was kind of posting that she saw in other people's chats that I'm not going to repeat, but I can't help but think that I kind of agree with those people. And Natasha, of course, was grasping at straws, trying to find anything to be outraged about. You know, of course. And I also have a problem with another thing that grinds my gears is the folks that take figures of speech and blow them out of proportion as, like, you know, and actually, you know what? I'll give this as an example. Okay. There was somebody who was offended and I cannot remember who it was. And I sincerely apologize if this is somebody who's still in our community. I'm just calling it how I saw it. Natasha had said something like, you know, go lay in a creek or something like that. I don't remember. This was like last summer. And people were getting all outraged about it. Now that's a figure of speech, right? So is go jump off a cliff. That is a figure of speech. Yeah, anything like that is a figure of speech. It is not a genuine sentiment of aggression or harm. Like that person is not genuinely wishing that you did anything like that. Like that doesn't make sense. That just sounds like something to be outraged about. Now, what Natasha does is she'll say that over and over and over again. You know, like what she did to Voices, about the wishing harm on a unborn child. Like that's literally not what she meant. Could she have chosen better words? Yeah, she could have. But any adult with a brain and eyes and I don't know, any sort of logical reasoning whatsoever would know that that's not what she meant. Same with the people, like, and I'm giving that to Natasha too. I don't think Natasha genuinely meant she wanted somebody to lay in a creek and die. No, it's a figure of speech, as is, you know, go jump off a cliff or go drive off or whatever. I don't know. I use that all the time. I say that about people all the time. And do I actually wish that they do it? Absolutely not. Of course not. But people just want to be outraged about anything. And it's like, I can't help but wonder, like, do you actually feel outraged by that? Or are you trying to play this card to bolster, you know, the drama in the community? Which is fine. You know, if you want to play it like that, okay. But I'm going to talk about it if you do. You know, it certainly works. It gets people all angry. They're like, oh my God, somebody said that you should jump off a cliff. Oh my God, that's so horrible. How dare they? When you probably say that in your life all the time. I do. You know, and it's a figure of speech. And that frustrates me. And sometimes I feel like people know this, but they still play along with it anyway. I don't know. But what I have noticed is that, you know, people like to say people over here hate bond or whatever. Well, that's what I'm seeing going on over there. Like you know, there's a particular panel that I was looking at the other day, and every single person on that panel the one thing that they all had in common is they hate Kim and Jess. That was what they had in common. That's what they were discussing. And these are people, like, it was basically like, let's showcase every single person that has done pretty awful stuff in this community, or to this community. But that's okay. As long as they don't like Jess. As long as they don't like Jess, it's totally fine, right? And these things change so quickly that, I don't know. It's stupid. It's stupid. And I don't understand how people don't see that. I just don't. I genuinely am asking, though. I want somebody to explain why Jess and Kim are so much worse than the people that you associate. Like, please explain that to me. I really want to know. Because I've gotten several emails. I've had several comments in my comment sections on videos that people are just so outraged that I hang out over there. And I don't get it. I really don't. I think everybody's got their flaws, right? But it's like, pick your poison. I'm going to pick the one that, I know is straight up and like I love analogies. Or is it metaphors? I don't know. But it's like, on the label, it basically tells you, yeah, this can be really toxic. The rest of you, don't even put that warning on your labels. You just come on here when you're just as toxic, if not more so. At least Jess puts it out there, and warns people and knows. That's what I appreciate. At least I know the poison I'm taking. Whereas, with other people, they can, make their poison taste like candy or, all of that. And they can put it in a bright colored bottle that's really attractive for people. And people would be like, oh, well, this can't be that bad if it's in like a purple bottle with a unicorn, as opposed to Granny who's got hers with a big warning label up on the front. But I respect that. I think that's, that's not fake. That's what I appreciate. And I don't always agree with everything everybody does. I don't think anybody is like that. There's just a whole bunch of different levels of disturbing on here. With Natasha, it's just, like I said, the only people on here that I think want to wear her skin are her supporters. I'm not jealous of her. I assure you of that. I would rather be me than her. For various reasons, and I'm not going to go into them because I think that we've established, although I don't really feel like playing by the rules that everybody expects you to play by on here. I also don't expect that going forward. As long as I'm not harming people or going real life, I really am not going to apologize for anything that I do on here. I'm not, because I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry. A lot of these things I wish I had done sooner. Because I feel like the community should know. And being nice here, what has that gotten me? Nothing. It's just made me resentful and angry and angrier and angrier when I know things and I see people buying into other people's bullshit and lies. When I know better, but haven't said anything because for whatever reason, I'm not going to do that anymore. I don't think anybody enjoys it, but I certainly don't appreciate feeling used. I don't like being used. I don't like anything like that. And I felt very much so that way. Lied to, used. I don't think I don't notice things because I do, and of course I'm going to be angry about it. Some of it petty, maybe. But it sucks, it sucks. Because like I said, I've learned here time and time and time again that when it comes down to it, I'm never the person people pick. And I go into relationships knowing that. When push comes to shove, nobody is going to stick around and support me. I can't expect that. People rarely, very rarely do. I very, very rarely hear anybody support me or defend me. I've had several people apologize to me afterwards, recently, about that, and been like, well, I really should have said something, but I didn't. And even people that I thought were my friends didn't stand up for me or support me or anything like that. So I have to, or choose me. So I have to go into it knowing that. And, I think I'm better off for doing it. So, call me cold, call me heartless, call me anything like that. But I'm not going to allow myself to get stabbed in the back again and again and again and again on here for people that would not do the same for me. So why am I protecting them? Why am I protecting people that would never have my back if I needed them to? I'm not going to protect them anymore. I'm just not. And I really don't care. So if I feel that there are things that other people need to know, I'm going to tell them those things. I am. Yeah. If I feel that I need to clarify with somebody so I can get to the truth of the matter, I'm going to. And if I have to add additional context to that, to help get to the truth of that, I'm going to do that too. And I'm sorry if that along the way, upsets you or pisses you off. Okay. The only thing that I'm guilty of, like behind the scenes, is talking shit. And the people that I've actually, I haven't talked shit about a whole lot of people. And I mean, like I said, I had a lot of feelings about Granny's watching, but a lot of that was based on lies. And until somebody proves me otherwise and shows me the evidence, shows me the receipts, I can't help but believe that was untruthful. And and like I said, I do have a temper. I get very angry when I feel slighted. Usually I get it out of my system. I don't really hold grudges. And everybody here gets angry, and you would too if people were telling you that people are saying all these horrible things about you, saying that you're conspiring to take their channels down and that you're behind doxing information. When I hadn't heard this person say that, but I was being told that this person said that about me. A whole bunch of other stuff. When that really wasn't the case. So yeah, I was angry because I don't like to be lied about, first of all. I don't like being lied to either. So, I guess there's that too. But I got angry. I got angry when I'm being told that all of this stuff is happening, targeted at me, when really I don't think that was the case at all. So yeah, have I talked shit? Yeah. Has Jess kind of snapped at me and said some things directly to me on lives that kind of pissed me off? Yeah, she has. But that's okay. At least she's direct about it. At least she's honest. At least I don't have to, question how she feels about me, right? I admire that. I respect that. Because other people haven't done the same. There's clearly other people that don't like me at all, that we're just like, oh, I think you're so great. Prime example of that, our good friend over in Dorothy's chat, Ariana, the day prior was like, oh, I love your content. You're so great. You're so talented. You have a lot going for you. Blah, 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 blah. Don't ever change. XOXO, all of that ridiculous nonsense. And then the very next day is saying the most vile, nasty things about me, calling me a liar, calling me all sorts of other words, putting laughing emojis about one of the hardest things that I've experienced. All of those things. And, clearly you didn't actually mean anything that you said less than 24 hours prior. So beware of the people that come in and love bomb. Okay. Be very careful. And for subscribers, keep your eyes open. See who's doing that. See who goes chat to chat to chat to chat saying, hello, lovelies, heart, 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 heart. Nothing screams disingenuous to me more than that. And there's a few people that like to do that. Now, there's going to be also those other people that actually do what, just I think thought I did, which honest to God was not my intention behind anything like that. I was not intending to do that. And I remember being very, very frustrated that she felt that way. But obviously, if that's how she saw it, then that's how she saw it. But I mean, I can tell you right now, that was never my intention. But you'll see that there are some people, especially when they first get their channel going, they'll go chat to chat to chat saying, oh, hello, lovelies. So, oh, heart, 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 heart. And then they leave. So, and then they go to the next chat and they do that there and the next one, hoping that somebody's going to drop their link. And I see people like that as fake. And I can relate. I can understand how Jess felt because I had somebody do that to me. Um, you know, for it's kind of ironic now, but I felt like using my channel, using me, um, to kind of, promote them, gather my audience, and then never come back. And people do that all the time, and it's hurtful, and it sucks. It really does. I wish people would not do that. Build your stuff on your own merit. I mean, obviously, I've had people drop my links, and I appreciate that. Thank you. Like, Dorothy dropped my link, but I really actually didn't get a whole lot of subscribers from Dorothy, and I lost most of the ones that I did get. So I don't actually even count her in that. So really, the only, I thank Kim and Crafton in particular for that, because they have dropped my link, and I appreciate that very, very much so, because a lot of people don't know that I have a channel because of how this algorithm works, and for them to tell their audience that I do has brought a lot of people here. Another one that's dropped my link is Country Joe, and I appreciate her for doing that as well. And if I'm missing anybody, I forgive me. My memory isn't great, but those are the people that have recently done it for me that, I didn't ask them to. They've done it out of, because they support me, or, and that's really what's helped me. Actually, you know what? Holly has shared my link before as well. And Melissa Jade. Okay, so there's more. I see my memory kicks in. But I'm not a bad person. I mean, I kind of play one on YouTube. But I'm not doing the stuff that people get so outraged about. But the problem is that even if I was doing those things, people obviously wouldn't care, because you want to act outraged about it, but you're the one associating with those people. And the amount of backlash I have gotten simply for being in Granny's Watching's chat and Kim and Crafton's chat is really disturbing, guys. It's concerning that people get that upset. I know this is going to come off as mean, and I don't want it to, because if I don't like something, that doesn't mean that other people shouldn't like it. I'm not knocking your tastes or your preferences or whatever else. That's not what I'm doing, but I'm entitled to have my own, right? So if I enjoy the chats, if I enjoy the lives, I would rather be there than somewhere that I think is boring. And that's kind of my right to do. I'm not going to force myself to fit in with people that I don't, I hate to say enjoy, but that's the only word I can think of. Enjoy. Because I come on YouTube for entertainment as well. Let's be honest, and to socialize and whatever. And if I don't really like your lives, if I can't, if they don't, catch my interest, if I can't, why should I box myself into that? And even beyond that, nobody here's hands are clean. People need to understand that, and look who you're associating with, and look what you're outraged about. Granny's Watching isn't the one that's put any of that onto YouTube. That was Lycan who put that onto YouTube, but he's okay, right? You guys are okay with him. So that makes sense. Said nobody ever. But actually, clearly people do, because everybody's like, oh yeah, that's fine. Totally fine. And then you have the people that are like, well, we should forgive people, and, people should have a clean slate. Well, first of all, I agree. I think people should be forgiven at some point and should have a clean slate. However, I have heard no accountability taken at all. All I have seen is people pointing the fingers and trying to, throw the blame off of themselves onto anybody else. I have not heard anyone take accountability for their behavior. So that's the first part of that. So I am not going to be forgiving anybody until I hear that. If I need to hear people take accountability, and if you're not going to take accountability, then that's where we end it. And additionally, even if you do take accountability, I need to see a long period of time of changed behavior. And people are like, oh, well, X, Y, or Z wasn't recent. It was, in the past. It wasn't in the past, guys. Like, how much more recent does the past couple weeks have to be to show that people are still doing these behaviors? What? And if you want to forgive, okay. I'm not saying that, people shouldn't do that. If you want to forgive people and you want to have them on your platform, if you want to have people that think making off-color jokes and say some of the most horrific stuff that you could possibly say on here just to be some sort of edgelord or whatever, if you're comfortable with that, then that's fine. You can be comfortable with that. But, don't get mad or not expect me to say something about it. You can't get mad about it. You're welcome to make the decisions you make. I will make the decisions I make, and we will both, take any consequences or repercussions we get from it. Just because you do something does not mean that, people have the right to say something. So yeah, say whatever you want, do whatever you want, but, expect that there will be things said. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to stop doing it. The last thing I want to be perceived as fake. I don't want to pretend to like people that I don't like. And have I done that on here? Yeah, I have. And generally that's not really what I do. I don't generally do that at all. I in my real life, if I don't like you, I just stay away from you. And I do that. I've done that a fair amount on here as well, but in some ways I've felt pressured to like people or to be supportive when really I don't like them at all. But no more. I'm not doing that anymore. And I'm not going to apologize for who I like and who I support. Like, that's what I'm saying though, guys. Like, really take a self-inventory as to why you're so upset. There's a common denominator in all of that. And I also challenge people, okay? And I know that people are like, oh, why are you kissing Granny's ass? Well, because I have a problem with some of the stuff that I'm seeing, okay? That if this was happening to somebody else, I would have a problem with that as well. But right now, this is my focus. This is what I'm talking about. And if you don't like it, then I'm sorry to hear that. That's too bad. But there was other people that are saying that she has said some horrible things. Well, show me the proof. You trying to tell me that, you know what? I will use names. I will use names because this is somebody who I actually was preparing to speak out about myself. But haven't because they're really not a priority in my life or anything on here. But I believe that what my understanding is that Pesky has said that Jess made some absolutely vile comments towards her. But okay, first of all, Pesky, you're a clip channel, right? So you're trying to have me believe that Jess said those things and you did not clip it. That nobody clipped her saying something like that, because I promise you, because clearly we see that, you have people like Lindsay who are sitting there waiting to take screenshots of things or screen grabs or records. And she's not alone. I mean, there's a lot of subscribers that do it too. You're trying to tell me that Granny said something like that and nobody got a screen grab of that? I don't believe that. I don't believe that for a second. If it was someone like me that said something like that, nobody got fine because I'm not really, in the spotlight. But it's Granny's watching. And of course somebody would have gotten that. So, or else you show me proof that she did that. All I see that as is somebody who's desperately trying to be part of something and contribute to some perceived movement against Granny's watching, which, by the way, never ends well for anybody. So, or else you expect to find yourself, well, people will see for themselves. But I just find it interesting. There's a lot of people on here that have, and I'm a big advocate for mental health, and I've kind of told my story and mentioned why when I was on Granny's panel not too long ago. But, when there are people that I've literally seen on here sobbing and saying that, they're so upset and can't handle being on YouTube because they feel attacked or whatever, they just can't handle it. They have to take a break. Okay. And I respect that. And I think that that's fine. I can have sympathy for that. But what I don't have sympathy for is when that same person who is saying that everybody's picking on them, if you're really that concerned about your mental health, why are you on here making videos poking at people? Do you expect that you can just poke and poke and poke at people and not get a reaction? Because that's not how this works. Okay. So if you're really that concerned about your mental health and about, not being attacked or anybody saying anything critical, then don't make clip videos attacking them. It's stupid. And there's 2 of you doing that right now. When I saw that, I was like, are you serious? Isn't this the same person that was like crying because, people were mean to them, quote unquote? Really? Yet you're the one putting out these videos, right? So if you don't want Granny's attention, if you don't want Granny to, talk about you, then why are you making videos tagging her in it that are really nasty? Why are you doing that? Are you doing that to fit in? Do you want to be part of something? Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. And that kind of voids out any sympathy I would have. Call me heartless. I really don't care. I care very deeply about people. I think I've made that very clear. But what I don't, what confuses me is people that go into these things behaving a certain way and then acting surprised. If you're whacking a rattlesnake with a stick, are you really that surprised when it lunges at you and bites you, or a dog, anything like that? Like, I don't get that. So if you really want to be left alone, if you don't want people bothering you, then stop being in chats, talking tons of shit, making stuff up, in my opinion, and making videos, tagging them in it. So if I wanted somebody to leave me alone, I certainly would not poke the bear. And perhaps if this community is that stressful for you, perhaps this isn't the community for you. And I hate saying that because I welcome everybody. I think that, I try to be as accommodating as I can to people here. But I'm also a human being. So if you've treated me like shit in the past, if you've harassed me, which some of you have, and there's actually like, I call it the lost tape, which is a video that I did that I only played the first 15 minutes of, which is basically what sparked all of this controversy. But later in that video, I do call out a certain, I'll use names. I called out Pesky. And this is in like February. Because, I don't appreciate being followed to chat rooms that, first of all, had nothing to do with what the topic was. I think one of them was in CJ's, and CJ was not even discussing Granny or me or anything like that. But you're over here adding me constantly, yelling at me for whatever I did to Granny. And I'm not talking about once or twice. I'm talking about obsessively. I have a screen grab of it. It was over. She had to be asked to stop by mods at least 3 times. And I didn't respond because you're not going to come at me like that and get a reaction. No, no, you're not going to treat me like that. If you want to come at me on my channel or privately and want to have a discussion about that and speak to me like a normal human being, okay, we can have a discussion about it. But you're not going to come at me like that, all rude and hostile, and calling me fake. And I think a con was one of, I don't know. I'll have to get the screen grab. I have no problem posting it either. I really don't. Obsessively. Like, I'm telling you, she had to be asked to stop by mods at least 3 times. I think she may have been timed out ultimately. And this was not just in CJ's chat. That's just the best example of it, because I think it was at least 12 hats over and over and over and over again. And I was like, are you serious right now? Like, that's not the topic of this live. So why are you coming into another creator's live and derailing it? And this was for Granny's watching. So I don't really know. Well, I do. It's just people only see what they want to see. They don't see the truth if they don't like somebody. I know a lot of people have felt hurt by Granny. I get that. And that's fine. You're entitled to feel hurt. But I just wish that people would have some self-awareness to see that, yes, this is kind of a, it's a bunch of people that don't like her. And it's really not even about what she's done that's so outrageously awful, but more so that you've somehow had your feelings hurt, or you've felt that she has attacked you. But here you are associating with people that have done things that I don't get it. I don't get it. It makes me feel like people are fake. Like some of these people that have Lycan up on their panel now are people that were so outraged by him. So outraged. They would never, never associate. This is when he was, with Granny. People were, saying a lot of stuff. They were like, I could never, he's just vile. But now you guys are BFFs up there. So what changed? What changed? Because the only thing that I see that changed isn't Lycan's behavior. It's the fact that he now is, at odds with Granny's watching. That's the only thing. So were you actually outraged by his behavior, or it seems to me that you weren't? You were just saying that because you felt that it's what people wanted to hear, or because you're a drama queen, or I don't even know. But that's not how I function. I don't change how I feel. I don't go and support people just because they're against somebody that I don't like. That's not how I function. And if I was to do what was popular, I certainly wouldn't be supporting Kim or Jess. Because that's not what's popular right now. That's, I can read the room. If I wanted to, I don't know, be fake, I could totally jump on that, but I'm not going to, because I see things the way I see things. I'm not going to justify it or apologize. How I see it is that, at least I appreciate that they are upfront and not fake. And I know that bothers some people. And then I have people that tell me, they're like, oh, I don't know why you support them. They don't even like you. And I'm like, okay, well, that's fine. They don't even have to like me, but clearly none of you like me either. I genuinely believe that. I don't think anybody on here, whatever. And that's fine. I've spoken to some people privately and they've told me that they like me, and I want to believe it. I do. And they've been supportive or whatever, but what's not helpful? Why are you coming on here saying, well, Jess doesn't even like you? Don't forget, and stop reminding me of those things too. Don't be like, well, don't forget, Jess did this to you when, why are you supporting someone like that? I've had people fuel my anger at her like enough. Okay. I'm over it. I'm over it. I don't care. Anything I've said, it's been out of anger. But ultimately, like, a lot of that was, like I said, fueled by lies. Like, why can't I make peace with somebody if I want to? I'm not outraged by that. Okay. Like, I'm not going to take what happens to me personally. So yeah, I'll make peace for things that happen to me personally. Okay. But like, I don't need to explain there's a method to my madness here. And I really don't care if she likes me or not. If she doesn't like me, that's fine. She doesn't have to. That doesn't mean that I'm not gonna, I don't really care about that. At least, other people are so fake, like they love bomb you until they can't get what they want from you, and then they never show back up. I don't see how that's any better. Clearly those people didn't like me either. If they did, they wouldn't have split, right? So ultimately I clearly didn't matter that much to them either. And I'm sorry that, other people had a bad experience. Now, I also find it interesting, and I really don't care. I know this will probably piss somebody, people who say that they couldn't support Granny's watching due to moral dilemmas. Well, that would hold a lot of weight. That would hold weight, sure. If you weren't associating with folks that you are now. So I don't understand how that works. So if somebody wants to explain that, I'd love a crash course on that, because I don't get it. Maybe I'll do an open panel and somebody wants to come up and explain it to me, how you're so morally, you cannot support Granny's watching because of your moral values, but you support people who dig into children's lives and gather information about, people's domestic violence situations, and say things like Lycan does. Okay. Or better yet, some of these people went over to support Natasha right after. Okay. Because that makes sense, right? That makes sense. We can't support Granny because that's so ethically depraved. But Natasha's fine. Okay. That doesn't make sense to me either. So basically my point is, like, I don't really have room or time for fake people. And over time, like, who's fake and who's not has kind of come to light. Now, if, I'm also not the kind of person that if I'm presented with new information that I can't change my opinion. But as I see it, I like to look at the big picture. I'm not going to disown somebody or whatever, especially if it's, there's a method to my madness here. But, taking accountability and acknowledging your mistakes goes a long way. And I have seen Granny's watching take accountability for things. Has she taken accountability for everything? No, probably. But that's fine. At least I've seen her do it on some of the big things. I have not seen that from anybody else. I'm sorry. I just haven't. I think there are people that are owed a sincere apology. I get that there's a lot of hurt and there's a lot of anger, but I'm not going to justify why I do things the way I do. And I'm also really tired of the whole, channels being canceled, blah, 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 blah. Like, you can miss me with that as well. I also received some emails and comments telling me that I was being reported to YouTube, to Natasha and her attorneys or whatever. I received a few of those actually. And I remember I did come on here and I was like, does anybody know what that's about? I'm not really sure because I thought it was very interesting yesterday because I kind of saw this in real time. So I'm not really sure what came of this or what people's thoughts are on it right now, if they've changed at all. But I did see that Brittany, I saw that, her channel got kind of taken out midstream or something. And I saw a couple people, did lives about that afterwards or like community posts. And all I was seeing in that is people blaming Jess and Kim and Crafton immediately. And then I saw like, I was kind of confused by what I saw. Honestly, it was very confusing. Now I'm gonna, guys, do we have selective memories too? Did Natasha not say that, and didn't I could be wrong here, but did she not mention that like the term of service that she had been told that she broke was nudity? Like I could be wrong. I believe that was what she had said at one point or another. And she said that, if she's down, then everybody's going to come down with her. And I believe she even said, starting with Brittany J. I could be wrong. So I found that interesting too, that she was like, it's against TOS to encourage or threaten that stuff, but yet she does it. I had a whole discussion about that the other day on a live, but I found that ironic. But here's the thing, this isn't like, let's look at who, and I don't know. I heard that I've heard a couple of different theories, but my point is, it's not who I think did it, or whatever like that. But I just think it's interesting how quickly people were blaming Kim and Crafton and Jess when, you have Natasha, who has literally said as much, that is her intention on what she would like to do to everybody else on here. So I'm not understanding. And then I was like, I saw, I don't know. And then what I also found interesting, and maybe I read into this a little too much, was that, you have, the same people who were saying that Natasha wouldn't have been taken down via, people hitting the flag on that, are now saying that Brittany was taken down by that same method. So, I'm going to tell you right now that that's not my understanding of how this works. But if you're saying that it wasn't possible for Natasha, why are we now saying that it's possible with Brittany? Like, that doesn't make any sense. And really, you're just killing your argument to Natasha supporters. You're basically just proving them right. So I'd watch how you say things. If you don't want it being twisted like that anyway. I don't believe that that's what happened either on either side of that, but that's just my belief. It's so interesting how people are so quick to figure out who they think did it, when I don't think it's anything like that. But that's fine. You know, if you, I know if people hate somebody, they're going to say that it's them that did that. I don't think anybody cares that much about, you know, any of that to have the time to do that. I'm not really sure what happened with that. I hope she gets her channel back. I mean, I don't think, from what I've seen, I don't honestly go over there very often. But I've never seen her do anything that would have warranted anything like that. So I think that that is a wrongful channel termination. So I do hope she gets it back. But I really would hope that nobody, you know, quit pointing the fingers at things now, because I don't believe that that's what happened. I just don't. So, nor do I believe that Natasha's here under her own name. I'm gonna say that too. I do not believe that at all. Because if that was the case when her other stuff, I don't know, that's a whole other situation. And, you know, honestly, she's not even that relevant. Like, what else do I have to talk about her? Like, she's a piece of shit. She sits in a recliner and scams people. And she has a whole bunch of weirdos that kind of go around white knighting for her. And all of that, and just look incredibly pathetic. And I do want to respond to each and every one of them personally to tell them so. But I figured I'd just come on here because I know they're watching. So yes, you guys are pathetic. I really suggest getting a hobby or a life. You know, and if you want to wear Natasha's skin, just own it. Own it, Buffalo Bill. You know, like, you know, if you want to put the lotions on the skin or whatever, like, you know, that's creepy AF, man. But, you know, if that's, don't be putting that on me though. Like, who says that anyway? Well, I was like, excuse me? I'm obsessed with her to the point where first of all, sweetheart, I don't think her skin would fit me. There, I said it. I went there. Couldn't help it. Sorry, not sorry. I don't think that would be a really good fit for me. And nor would I want to. Why would I want to be somebody who hurts other people and gives zero concern about it? I wouldn't want that. I happen to think that, you know, these days I'm a good person. I have a good heart. But I also am not gonna be used and lied to and manipulated going forward. That's not gonna happen anymore. And I'm also not going to be silent about things that go on because people really do have the wrong idea here. And I know I've said that over and over and over again. And here's the thing. I was going to come on here and show receipts, but what I've seen in the past 2 weeks is that, like, nobody cares. Like, I could put receipts out all day long. I could put out, like, everything I've got and nobody would believe me. It still wouldn't matter. People would still continue to support the people that they do. Because they hate somebody else that much. Or they just don't want to see it. They like to see the best in people. So really, I don't understand what the purpose is. So I don't know if I'd even be doing anything productive by doing that, which has kind of been my whole conundrum here. It's like, you know, what's the point? So I'll continue to say it. If you don't want to believe me, then I guess that's your right to. But when I'm telling you things aren't as they seem, and the narrative that is being spun and projected is not what is really going on, I mean it. You know, there's a reason that I do things the way that I do. I like to think that I do most of the things that I do in my life with integrity. I try to do that on here. But nice girls finish last. So I'm not going to be nice anymore. I'm not going to have a filter. I'm just not going to do that. Now, this is not what I wanted to get into on here entirely. I did not use some names. I think most people know what I'm talking about because there's been some chatter about it going on. But I will be doing an entire live about that. And like I said, I'm not interested in hashing it out with anybody right now. None of you. I am going to allow myself to feel hurt and have my own outrage. And I am going to continue on just like this because my feelings are valid and I deserve to feel this way. And I'm not going to, you know, back down because other people want me to. It's not how this works for me. Because certainly nobody would do that for me, right? Certainly nobody. So I'm just going to continue to do things the way I do it. And, you know, I'm sorry if you don't like it, but at this point in time, I am not at all interested in making peace with anybody. I'm not interested in forgiving anybody. I'm not interested in anything like that at all. And yeah, I think that's where I'm going to leave that with that. And like I said, the reason I'm not doing this as a live and doing it pre-recorded is that, you know, for a live, that requires a production that requires me being able to commit to, I figured if I'm on here early enough and I could just record this and put it out, I felt like that would be best. And I'm actually on here longer than I thought. I thought I was only going to do 30 minutes. But I can talk for hours clearly, without even any chat. So see that, guys? I don't need a chat. I don't need panel guests. I can talk all by myself and hold my conversation all by myself. And people can think I'm boring all they want. I probably think you're boring too. That's fine, to each their own. And I appreciate each and every one of you that support me. Like I said, I am honored that I have gotten as far as I have. I promise you that my pledge to you guys as my subscribers, my loyalty lies with my subscribers first and foremostly. I cannot control what happens on these YouTube streets. What I can do is control what happens on my own channel. And I'm not allowing that here. That's not going to be something that's here. Okay. We're not playing that game here. Not on my channel. Not with my subscribers, the people that support me. And I hate saying my subscribers, but there's no other better way to put it. You guys know what I mean. And like I said, I do have memberships now, which I have some good perks in there. Some of them I think people are probably going to be like, you're crazy for that. But I try to keep them like cheaper. I don't expect anybody to help me financially, but if you were so inclined to, I would appreciate it very, very much, of course. I tried to put some fun badges on there. And I'm going to do some fun stuff with that. Like, you know, I am actually, because I know a lot of people have memberships, but don't actually do anything with it. And I know that most people really don't care about that stuff, at least in this community. They just want to support, because there's a lot of generous, good, kind people here. But I do want to, and I like to get creative. So, you know, I am going to do members only chats and lives, and I am going to use that as an opportunity to do the interviews that I want to do with, you know, people like my dad to come on here. And, you know, people that he kind of throws my way with interesting topics. You know, I want to do watch parties with things. And I know a way to make that happen that doesn't cost any of you a dime. So I want to do stuff like that. I want to be able to connect with you guys. So people who, you know, are members of mine, I will respond to your emails. I will respond to your comments first and foremostly. I'm going to be giving people shout outs in not only videos, but here on my lives. And we're going to do some fun stuff. And then for my highest tier on that, my highest tier, which is, you know, I did all of them, I believe under $10, except for this one, which I believe is like $19.99, you know, for anybody who's feeling particularly generous, which again, you do not need to pay to be part of my hive. You know, you will still get, you know, the same BeePlus as anybody else, but I do want to offer perks to people who do choose to support me monetarily, which is greatly appreciated at this time. But it's not necessary at all. But, you know, for that, I will, you know, if you want to have the private communications with me, that's fine. We can do that, you know, so that's that top tier. I also am going to be, you know, I kind of debated this, but because I have access to merch making that doesn't cost me like very much, like I can do it, you know, with still, it makes sense business wise, because I know people that do this for a living, like screen printing, and they do that kind of stuff, you know, like making bracelets and stuff, stickers, you name it. So for people on certain ones, I'm going to be sending those out every month. Not that anybody wants BeePlus merch, but it's not just stuff that says that. It's fun stuff. You'll like it. Kind of like a little care package. Now I have a lot of ideas. So if there's anything people would like added to that, by all means, let me know. Definitely my members only lives are going to be more in depth. I'm going to be more inclined to be more open and show a lot more with that because I feel like, you know, because I can't, like, more of myself rather. But I do hope, you know, they are out there. They should be live. They should be on there. If anybody would like to become a member, that would be wonderful. I don't think I have any yet. So if anybody wants to, you know, be the first one. You will forever in my memory be the first one, and I will acknowledge you every chance I get. Same with super chats. If anybody wants to, I have not gotten a super chat yet, although I do have the option for somebody to do that on there. So whoever wants to be the first on that, you will also forever be memorialized as the person who was the first super chat I ever got. And I never forget things like that. So yeah, I just appreciate each and every one of you for even getting me to this point. And honestly, well, I feel like a lot of my opinions on things right now are not popular, and I know for a fact that there are people that support me who don't, who I am assuming, based on where I see them, don't agree with me. I could be wrong, because that doesn't always mean anything, right? We can't always assume that, but I'm assuming, by logical reasoning would say, that they probably don't agree with me. But just hear me out here, guys. Like, when all is said and done and the dust settles, don't come telling me I told you so. Actually, you can if you want to. You'll see, right? You'll see. And eventually everything will come out. Eventually. Now, I'm not saying that, like, everybody's done stuff they're not proud of on here. I'm not saying anybody is completely innocent, but the fact that there are people on here that won't even acknowledge anything that they've done wrong, that's concerning to me, and that's a red flag. It's the people that claim to be innocent that I have a problem with. So, the ones that have taken accountability and have acknowledged what they've done wrong, I have respect for. So I can get over, I can forgive and move on from that. What I'm not going to move on from is the folks that continue to deflect and blame shift and find everything. Well, they're like, well, this person did this, so, why is there outrage about what I'm doing? This isn't about anybody else. Okay. And I'll use Lindsay as an example. Lindsay, this isn't about Granny's Watching or Mandy C or Kim or any of those people. This is not about them. This is not about, well, look what they've done. I don't care. Okay. With this situation, what I would like is you to take accountability and say, yes, I did that. That was fucked up. I'm sorry. Or you're not sorry, but at least acknowledge it. Instead of saying, well, look what this person's doing, look what that person's doing. It doesn't matter. This isn't about them and what Granny's Watching or Mandy C or Truth Teller or whoever, what they've done doesn't make you less guilty of the situation at hand. So miss me with that, right? Like, I don't get it. People's like way of thinking and logic and is just so incredibly flawed on here that it blows my mind. It's like almost like a social experiment. I've never seen anything quite like it in my life. And I try to take a step back and look at it as the big picture. I try not to let myself get blinded by things. I love it when Natasha supporters come in and say, I'm so caught up in my hate. Okay. Well, I'm not caught up in hate. Okay. Like, I don't hate her. I just think she's a piece of shit. There's a difference. And I don't have to like her. So are you going to go tell Natasha that she's caught up in hate towards the people she talks about? Because I expect if you're going to tell me that, you're going to say the same thing to her, right? Right? Okay, I'm waiting. I'll be waiting. So you're going to say that just because somebody talks about something means that they're caught up in hate? So yeah, I expect you to say the same thing to her. I do. So I'll be waiting for that. Because otherwise your point is invalid to me. And that's fine. I'm really not in the mood to argue with people that can't see things, other than their own side. And how quickly those things change on here. Am I right? But yeah, and there are plenty of creators in here that I don't really have an opinion on. But there are some that I have very strong opinions on because I've experienced things with them. And most of what I base my stuff on is things that I have seen or experienced myself. So if I don't like somebody, there's usually a good reason for it. And if I'm outwardly, like if I come on here and talk about it, then there's really a good reason for it. That's all I'm going to say about that. Now, I would just hope that, guys, just hear me out, right? All right. So just hear me out on these things. Because you guys will see. And I know it's frustrating in the meantime. And I've been saying this for a long time. It is frustrating in the meantime. To have people point the finger and say that you're the bad guy. Because you speak out about it or because you have an opinion. When really, like, if you know the truth, then you know. But people don't want to see it. And that's what I'm saying, though. Like, even if I was to show all my screenshots, would you really care? Would that really change anything? As long as that person, hates grannies watching, I don't think it would change a damn thing about anything. I just don't. And, I know that people are like, oh, you're kissing. Oh, no, that's how I see it. That's how I see it. That's the reality that I'm seeing here. As long as somebody doesn't like the same person as you, then they're fine. And I've seen actually pretty much every creator do it. And I'm not going to lie. It is hate bonding. That's what it's called. But I really see it right now. That's very clear because some of you people that are, up on panel with liking every day are people that I have heard personally say that what he does and says is morally reprehensible. I also find it ironic the folks who, said that they can no longer support Granny's watching, but then went over to Natasha's and heavily supported her. I don't understand that. That doesn't make sense to me. You know what I mean? So, to each their own, right? I mean, can't expect everybody to think like I do, but if you're down to have an open mind and you're down to, listen to me, go off when I'm angry, because I'm going to do that from here on out. I'm not going to be quiet about it. Now, I will be doing an entire live discussing a certain thing that went on very recently that I just need to get some more information about first, because I actually very briefly witnessed it, and then I ended up going to sleep, and I haven't really heard much about it since because there's been other stuff happening, but I do need to figure out exactly what happened before I address it. But I feel like I might address it either way because I am not happy with this person. And I know that me saying this out loud could potentially be detrimental to my channel. And that's fine. That's fine. Okay. I'm not going to lie to people and tell people that I'm not going to lie about it. And if something happened, it happened. So just because other people have a different opinion than I do, does not mean that mine isn't valid. It just means that you haven't seen it yet and you haven't experienced it. But don't worry, doesn't make it any less real. And that's what I'm saying. Like, sometimes the villain isn't who you think it is. Sometimes the villain isn't the person who's the loudest, which is what people seem to think. And I'm not even including just whatever. I know people know that I'm a good person. I'm generally a very nice person, or else I'm angry. And, I have every right to have an opinion. It's like, the minute I say something, it's a problem. But, these are the same people that talk shit all night long on their panels about everybody else. But, God forbid BeePlus doesn't. God forbid BeePlus opens your mouth. So sorry, not sorry. But I would just hope to people, if you're going to hold me to standards, you hold everyone to those standards. Or else your argument is invalid to me. I am not going to even acknowledge it, that it exists. Same way that I was not going to even respond to Pesky with that. You're not going to approach me like that and expect my attention. No, you come at me like a human being, like a mature adult, and we can have a conversation. But if you're going to come at me, disrupting somebody else, it was ridiculous. I have a video of it. It was ridiculous. And I did actually include that video in the lost tape, which maybe I should post. It's about an hour and 15 minutes long. Some of my views have changed since that tape, or that video rather, because things have definitely changed, right? I've gotten more information. My feelings have changed about some things. So I feel like if I posted it now, it would just cause confusion. But I did go in depth. Oh, God. about how I feel about people at that point in time. And that was kind of what set off the catalyst. But you know what? There's no benefit in being nice here. There's no benefit in here to not speak your mind. In fact, I think people like it when you speak your mind. And that's what I'm going to do. And I'll go toe to toe with the best of them. Fine. You want to come in here? And I mean, actually, no, I'm not going to say that, because you're not going to come in here. And when I'm having a live, you're not going to come in here and disrupt it. You know, if you want to have a conversation with me privately or up on a panel, we can do that. That's fine. But you're not going to come and derail my chat over it. I'm allowed to not like people. It's allowed. Sorry. And I don't like everybody. That's the truth. And if I talk about it, I'm going to talk about it. No. Nope. I have zero tolerance for trolls. If you don't like what I'm doing, if you don't like my channel, then don't come in my chat at all. Like, that's not, if you think you're hurting me, that's not really the case. What you're doing is you're discrediting other people's experiences. And that I will not have. Like I said, the people who support me are my priority. That is my focus. That is what I care about. And that's the end of that story. That is what it is. But going forward, we're going to go into more depth about some of these topics. I've spent way more time on here than I even wanted to. And now I do have to get off here and go get some stuff done. While I still have time to do it. Because I really only thought I was going to be on here for like 30 minutes, but I will post this video. It might take a while to load because it is 2 hours long. But I hope I've addressed some things in here. And like I said, have an open mind. Please, before you react and get angry, just hear me out, okay? And give it some time. Because I'm not here to bullshit any of you. I'm not here to mislead any of you. I'm not here to cause issues. I am here to basically just speak the truth, right? And you'll see. And if I'm wrong about something, I'm wrong. But I'm not wrong about some things, okay? I'm not. And they can deflect and they can say all they want and say all of these things, and that's fine. Let them. When the dust settles, people will see. It's going to be people you don't expect that are the dirtiest, okay? And you'll see that. Are my hands clean? No. But I've never gone real life, and never would. And I've never done a lot of the stuff that a lot of people have done here at all. Like I said, I've never so much as Googled anybody's name because I don't care that much. It's YouTube. Get a life. Seriously. Some people really have nothing better to do with their lives than all day to research people and make these files. For what? Do you feel important? Does that make you feel like you're productive? Or I don't even know. It's weird and it's creepy. And I strongly encourage, maybe finding something else to devote your time to. Because nobody cares. All you're doing is hurting people. And, with how the politics on here works, people might be supporting you now because they don't like grannies watching. But wait till those tables turn, because they will. They always do. And then you will be the evil one because people will see it. They'll be like, oh, okay. So enjoy your time feeling important and empowered, because that never lasts on here. Enjoy it while you can. In the meantime, I strongly suggest people take accountability. So when that shift does happen, and I don't want to say that. No, that's not the way. Sorry. When that table turns, rather, that'll paint you in a little bit of a better light, but if you want to continue to be like this, I don't know. I don't have respect for bullshitters, liars, manipulators, none of that. I don't have respect for that. I just don't. So, we'll see what happens, right, guys? So I am going to get off of here for now. But yes, if you're just listening now or just tuning in, if you're watching the replay, which obviously you're watching the replay because this is pre-recorded, hit that like button, hit that thumbs up, do it. It helps me out. It doesn't cost you a dime. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. I have some good content coming on here, and the people have spoken. So I will be doing some panels going forward. I have some cool stuff. I just got to get through. I'm in grad school, so I've got 2 weeks left. And I've been sick, so I've I'm a little bit behind. So I got to catch up and get all that work in. But after 2 weeks, I have a lot of time to dedicate to you guys. And I think that's when, so just, give me a chance until then. All right. Like, my silence doesn't mean I'm not here. It just means that I don't really have time to do YouTube. But I will soon. So yeah, I hope everybody has a wonderful, today's what? Is today Wednesday or Tuesday? Wednesday? Say Wednesday? Yeah, today's Wednesday. Hope everybody has a wonderful Wednesday. I will probably be around and chat a little bit at various places. But yeah, so stay safe on those YouTube streets. Feel free to drop a comment down below. That also helps the algorithm. And yeah, like I said, check out my memberships. They should be on my channel, but if not, let me know in the comments below if they're not there and I will figure it out. And I hope all of you have a great day.